We have corrections for you. We have so many corrections. Sometimes we make mistakes. We look like perfect individuals. The Virgo in me would like to be perfect all the time. However, sometimes we make mistakes, and I have made quite a few in the last couple of videos, and you all are so helpful about keeping us honest. So let's get to it and set the record straight on a few things. Many of you were kind enough to mention that we totally forgot about Tony Bennett.
We did.
When we talked about all the people who died over the last couple of weeks while we were both on vacation and out of town, Tony Bennett happened among all of that early on. He was 96 and, of course, just a titan. And so just a total oversight on our part. So thank you for remembering him. Longevity and legend, and still was working with like Lady Gaga and still influential. And
no, absolutely. I remember his Katie Lang duets, a few years back were great. I mean, his cinematic footprint, sadly, for the most part, is The Oscar, which is a wonderful, terrible movie. But a thing that I didn't know until the podcast Can't Wait for Christmas talked about this on a memorial segment. Tony Bennett was like front and center in the civil rights movement. Like he was very involved with, the marches and just getting out front of stuff and, like making a thing about, trying to integrate clubs and stuff and having black musicians getting to, use the front door, that kind of thing. Like
amazing.
And apparently was demoted in the army for like being friends with a black soldier, like constantly his whole life, walked the walk. So good on him.
Amazing. R.I.P. to you, good sir. All right. So we mentioned in our Ninja Turtles review that is the summer of Ayo Edebiri. We said it wrong. We love her work so much.
We said it wrong through all of our bear recaps.
I'm so mad at myself because it's the kind of thing where I would ordinarily like go and look for a video of the person saying their name to get it right, and just never did. And I'm so apologetic for that because we're a huge fan of her work. She's so great and so versatile. And it is indeed the summer of not of Ayo Edebiri, but of Ayo Edebiri. Accent on the second syllable. So thank you for that. We will review Bottoms when it comes out in a couple of weeks, and we will say her name correctly there.
Yes.
Katie Walsh and I reviewed Talk to Me. We caught up with the Australian horror film Talk to Me, and just off the cuff, she's like, are these guys like the first YouTubers to make it big and make movies? And I'm like, I'm sure there are others. And in the heat of the moment, could not remember any, including Bo Burnham, who we love around here and who Ben and I interviewed on What the Flick. One of the last things we did before What the Flick ended, Bo Burnham came into the studio. We talked to him. Of course, we love 8th Grade. We love Inside. He is one of several people who began in YouTube. David F. Sandberg, who did Lights Out, is also a former YouTuber. So lots of you guys were kind enough to chime in with memory joggers there. So thank you very much for that. We talked about Oppenheimer box office in our news segment last time. And I totally misread and misregurgitated what the stat was that I saw in this Variety story. Because it said that like 400 million was what it meant. What it said that I did not say correctly was that it had already beaten all of Tenet. Right? It has already beaten the entirety of several of his previous films, including his most recent one, Tenet. And that's what I read, and I got the number 400 million in my head. Of course, The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises both made over $1 billion. So I'm a dummy, and I just read that wrong. We were gone for 2 weeks, and I totally forgot how to do this job.
You come back from vacation, you got to settle back into it. So
I've been a journalist for 30 plus years. I'm dumb and out of it. And then many of you were also helpful to remind us that this is not the third go round on Ninja Turtles. It is actually the fourth.
Okay, what's the other
I guess there was an animated one, and then there were the Megan Fox and Will Arnett ones, and there's another one in there that...
Well, there was the Muppety one, like the Jim Henson Creature Shop ones from like the 90s, and the second one had Vanilla Ice in it. These are the ones with like Elias Koteas. I forget who played April O'Neil. And then there was the Megan Fox one, and there's this one. Was there like another animated feature or something else?
Anyway.
Please tell us, because I don't know. I trust you, but I don't know what that is. So
many of you were kind enough, many of you Ninja Turtle aficionados were kind enough to enlighten us. So thank you for all of that. We do appreciate it. And I'll just try and be better at my job from now on.
We're sorry.
I hate being wrong. You have no idea.
Yeah.
Like the uptight Virgo in me who organizes t-shirts in my closet by rainbow order. Like who organizes, back when I was still drinking, we would organize the beer in the refrigerator geographically. Like I'm super OCD about stuff. So I get mad at myself when I make mistakes. But anyway.
Okay.
So that's how there are still strikes going on. In the Writers Guild and the Screen Actors Guild are both on strike. The AMPTP had reached out to the Writers Guild to try to talk about restarting negotiations, not about restarting them, but to talk about
restarting. Okay.
So that has happened, but also several celebrities have donated $1 million a piece or more to the SAG-AFTRA Foundation to keep actors going. And it's huge names like Oprah and Meryl Streep and Matt Damon and Ben Affleck and George Clooney and Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively.
Good.
And all kinds of people putting their money out there to support Julia Roberts, Dwayne Johnson.
Excellent.
Anyway, so good on you. And our friends Brian and Nikki from Silver Sun Pickups went out to the Disney picket line and did a little mini set of a handful of songs.
Oh,
to
nice.
to entertain the folks while they were out picketing. So good on you guys as well.
Cool.
There is this lawsuit that has been filed against Lizzo. A bunch of her backup dancers, former backup dancers, are saying that she fostered a hostile work environment. They are suing her about sexual, religious, and racial harassment is what it says in their complaint. And there's all kinds of details in there you can read about them, about like forcing her dancers to go to sex shows in Amsterdam and do stuff involving bananas and things like that. So, and body shaming them. Like she, famously has had full figured curvy dancers behind her, but then there was some allegation of like body shaming them. And anyway, some person in her team was like forcing Christianity on them. And so anyway, she has responded saying this is all untrue and this is deeply disturbing. And so that's out there. We will follow that. Yeah, see where that goes. I know you are happy, my darling, because the Pedro Almodovar short, Strange Way of Life, is going to be in theaters alongside The Human Voice, which is a thing you've been clamoring about for like a year.
You never loved me. You never loved anyone in your life. Don't say that.
Yes, The Human Voice did get a brief theatrical release, but it was at a time where I didn't feel comfortable going back into theaters, and I'm sure a lot of other folks didn't either. So this is another chance to see that, and a chance to see this new film, the Western that he did with Ethan Hawke and Pedro Pascal. They are being put out together on one bill, so that's about an hour of cinema. Yeah. So I guess for all the theaters that couldn't get enough Oppenheimer in a day because of how long that is, this was just going to be bam, bam, bam.
Yeah. So that is New York and LA on October 4th.
Yes.
And then nationwide on October 6th. So I think, did we review The Human Voice? I feel like we did.
Surely we must have.
We must have. Anyway, either way, we'll definitely do Strange Way of Life.
Yes,
when
for
that
sure.
comes out in a couple of months. And then Weird Barbie. If you don't already have a weird Barbie at home, or your kids don't already have one with singed hair permanently in the splits with weird marker on her face, Mattel, this is clever. They're putting out a weird Barbie inspired by the Kate inspired by the Kate McKinnon character in Barbie. There, you can get your own weird Barbie for a mere $50. What do Barbies cost? Is that like a normal rate for a Barbie doll?
I don't even know. It's yeah, I couldn't tell you.
But this is like a special thing.
Of course. Limited edition, I'm sure. But yeah, make your own, kids. Come on. I did just read that Barbie is honing in on like 900 million worldwide, apparently. So kudos.
Crazy. Summer of Barbie. Anyway, go get your weird Barbie and go place her in weird positions and tell us about it.